Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Amiri Baraka.
Gani. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry that I am a week late coming. We had some unforeseen events in Newark, made it impossible at the last minute for us to get out. But glad that we finally made it down here. I want to say some things tonight, talk a little bit about nationalism, about politics, about power, and also read some poetry. But actually, the poetry just will be an extension of what I say anyway, what the other remarks are. I want to talk about nationalism because I am a nationalist. We have an organization in Newark called Committee for Unified Newark, which is a nationalist organization. We speak of nationalism. We mean people who are involved with national liberation, trying to bring about national liberation for black people. The liberation of a specific group of people. We say national liberation so that it be very specific what we are involved with doing. Liberating a nation of people. That nation that was brought here some 300 years ago. It has become fashionable of late to call nationalists racist, which is a powerful defensive weapon for the white nation, to keep black people from aspiring to nationhood, to keep black people from aspiring to political and economic self-determination, to keep them from aspiring to creating institutions that express them, creating institutions which legitimize their culture. You cannot speak of nation unless you speak of culture, because culture is the total aggregate of any nation's activities, whether it is politics or economics or religion or social organization or their creative motif. The nationalist says that we have no future as Americans because we have never been Americans. We have no future as Europeanized colored people. The only future we have is restoring ourselves to our true identity as black people, that is, African peoples. We are African peoples in slavery in the Western Hemisphere. Is this so complicated? The nationalist asks. Just 3 centuries has erased all trace of your motherland from your mind. Like the Negro used to say, well, I ain't lost nothing in Africa. Malcolm say, nothing but your mind. Nothing but your mind. We are African peoples striving for self-determination in the Western Hemisphere. Nationalism is the highest aspiration in politics that we can make here in the West. Nationalism. that people of a particular race and a particular culture come together by means of establishing a particular consciousness to recreate a nation which was destroyed by European peoples. If you say African, the opposite is European. If you say black, the opposite is white. The only opposite of Negro would be Blanco. If somebody want to call you a Negro, they must be a Blanco. Or if they're yellow peoples, are Amarillo. But we are African peoples who were brought here from Africa. Brought here from Africa, not on scholarship. The great cold mystery of the black man is no mystery. The black man is an African. All color comes from Africa. Egypt means black. Ethiopia means black. Sudan means black. Saud, as in Saudi Arabia, means black. Has to do with black people being brought to the Western Hemisphere to do work for European peoples. America is not Europe. It is a place where European peoples came to carve out an empire at the expense of Asiatic peoples, using African peoples as their slave labor. That's what's happening. The white boy controls the world because the muscle in his arm is a strong, unconscious nigger. When people spoke about black power, there was a question mark. What do you mean by black power? Is black power violent? It meant self-determination, self-respect, and self-defense. Self-determination to name ourselves, to speak for ourselves, instead of being named and spoken for by others. Self-defense, to struggle against those who struggle against us, and to make peace with those who make peace with us. That's natural. Self-respect, to build institutions which legitimize our culture. When we say culture, we're not talking about singing and dancing alone. Somebody says culture, they think you're talking about just singing and dancing. Culture is the determining factor of man's life. Race and culture are the strongest shapers of man's thought. They are the strongest means of determining who a people are. Their race and their culture. What is important for the white boy is that he has created a cultureless people who relate only to what white people want. A culturalist people. A people who are ashamed of their origins or ignorant of their origins. A people who even in contemporary 1970 America have found some kind of hip description for new integration that will permit them to be with white people yet still, even after being subjected for 3 centuries. They have found another hip cover story for being with white people, for aspiring to black and white unite, usually in the sack overnight. Nationalism means nation. Nation. Nationalism means nation. National liberation. When you come to college, usually what's run on you is a white ideology of change. You've been looking for change and somebody will run the whitey thing on you. That is, they try to get you with one of the 3 C's. They get you with Christianity, capitalism, or communism. One of the 3 C's to trick you up into being ever more committed to European thinking. But European thinking will never free you from a dependence on Europeans. Whatever level of dependence it is, whatever jargon you come out with to re-explain it to yourself in 1970 as different from it was in 1930. The fact remains that they did not kill those white boys in Chicago or Santa Barbara who blew up that bank. They did not put Abby Hoffman and Dellinger and the rest of those dudes in Connecticut with Bobby Seale to serve a death penalty, that he is there alone while Hoffman and them dudes wear Santa Claus suits around the country. You must be committed to national liberation, the liberation of black people, before you can be committed to anything else. It is impossible for you to free the world's people unless you are free. If you will listen to that Malcolm X record by yourself one night, not at a party, like name dropping, a new thing is called record dropping. If you will listen to that Malcolm X record and check out what Malcolm actually said about revolution. If you love revolution, you love black nationalism. Because black people are the only people, and the people of color in this land, who must be committed to national liberation if they are to survive. If we are to survive, we must be committed to national liberation. In a few years, the current generation of white so-called activists will be comfortable in America, just like the so-called Communist Party of the 30s is the most respectable white people in America. So all these people will evolve, and you will be left holding the bag. Fred Hampton was not killed because he was a leftist, but because he was black. Can you understand that? And unless we have an internal unity based on nationalist politics and a nationalist understanding of how we move, then we will not survive. We will be chumped off, we will be reintegrated, and the African personality will be lost. I talk about the African personality. That's what we are trying to save. The African personality. How can you speak of politics or economics if you don't understand the works of a Nyeri or a Sekou Touré? If you have not read Touré Nkrumah, how can you understand politics for black people in the modern world? If you haven't read a Garvey or a Blyden or a Malcolm X or Elijah Muhammad, if you have not given yourself over to the thinking of your own peoples in their evolution towards self-determination, then how can you ever understand what liberation is, who it is who will be liberated, identity? Internationalism can only come after nationalism. You must have a nation before you can be international. If internationalism is the key, then why isn't Mao Tse-tung the premier of Russia? Why is Mao Tse-tung in China? Why was Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam? Because it must be nationalist politics to establish a national base before you can deal internationally. And for the black man, international politics means Pan-Africanism. It means hooking up with black people wherever they are all over this planet into a strong black nation, as Garvey envisioned, as Blyden envisioned, as Nkrumah still envisions, as our people have envisioned since we were brought to this country. The aspiration of the Jewish people for political power in America and their confrontation with the Anglo-Saxon peoples makes it necessary for them to have a rabble army, a peasant army. It makes it necessary for them to have someone who can take the brunt of the violence that America is ready to heap on us anyway. The nationalist says that we must organize our people by first mobilizing them around issues and events which they are already interested. When you speak about politics to the average black man, you are speaking about elective politics. You are speaking about the Democratic and Republican parties. You are speaking about voting. It is necessary for black nationalist activists to mobilize black people around those issues that they are already moving around, and then raise their political consciousness, that is, nationalize them and hopefully organize them. The only way we will survive as a people is to be organized against what the white nation will attempt to do to us. Nothing else will save us. When they trapped those brothers in that house in Los Angeles, the Peace and Freedom Party was not out in front taking those bullets. When they killed Fred Hampton in Chicago, the hippies and the yippies was not laying on that bed next to them getting shot. We say national liberation because if a hippie with long hair can speak of revolution, it has become an imprecise term in 1970. Because his daddy owns the land, and when he gets old enough to inherit it, he will inherit it. And you will be left where you always left. Just like Benny Goodman was the king of swing, and Duke Ellington had to wait till he was 70 till somebody gave him enough money to stop making one-night stands. This is the process of political imitation, political use. The relationship between rock music and black music is the same relationship between white activist politics and black nationalist politics. It is an attempt to use your energy to light their light bulbs. But in the end, we will remain the same. We will remain in exactly the same relationship in America as we are today. But the answer is black people themselves, ourselves. No matter how hip you think you are, no matter how much of an activist you are, unless you are able to move the masses of the people, then what you are thinking is of no value. No matter how slick and hip your political ideology is, if it cannot motivate the great masses of black people, then it is useless. The only reason that you can get killed off is that you become alienated from the masses of black people and isolated, and then you will be eliminated. America is like a room with white people and black people in it, and the white people got, say, their feet on the black people's necks. And you, as the activists, the young people, run into the room and you see this relationship, and you say, hey man, this dude has got his foot on your neck. You have to remember that they have a relationship, that has been going on for a long time. And many of them think that if the white boy took his foot off their necks, their heads would fall off. It is necessary for you to find a way to involve the people without alienating the people. Our only protection in America is black people themselves. We are not saying that the white boy will not move on the whole black nation. He certainly will one day. He certainly will. Perhaps before the 70s is over. Perhaps before the 70s is over. No, he hadn't already done anything. He is jiving around now. When he moves on us, you will know it. When he really moves on us. You have, the only thing is time and will. Time to organize and to develop the will of black people to resist the ultimate oppression that will come. Nixon is a preview of what the 70s. The nationalist is interested in the control of land and space. You understand that? If what you're talking about is not seeking to control space, land, then you're not talking about national liberation. You are talking about another form of white control made slicker for the 70s. The control of land and space. Check Malcolm out again, what he said. It's about land. It's about space. Why we say space as opposed to land? Because land is one physical entity, but when we say space, we mean space to develop, space for our ideas to develop, space for our institutions to develop. A people cannot survive without institutions that legitimize their culture. We need space to develop as a people, to develop institutions that reflect the African personality. Can you understand that? That we must build institutions that reflect black people and black people's aspirations for national liberation. So it is about land. It is about space. What are you doing now to raise black people's political consciousness, to get them where they are and move them past that to where you think they ought to be? Don't call our people backward. The activists among us are the backward ones. We realize the white boy brainwash and all that. That's old. We know that. We know the white boy's the devil and all that. We know all that. What can we do in 1970 past that? How can we move them past that? You say, oh, the white boy, he's going to come down and destroy us. All right, we know that. Now, what can we do to survive? What steps are you taking to survive the onslaught? What actual steps are you taking to survive? I don't mean, I'm going to kill you, ism. Or, if you don't do this, we're going to destroy you, ism. That's not going to work. Like I said about coming into the room, the white boy and the nigga together in the room in this relationship, and you come in and you start saying, nigga, he got his foot on your neck. A lot of them will resent that. They will resent you bringing that up. But what kind of real steps are you making for the survival of black people? Not neophytism. Not just neophytism. A neophyte is somebody who found out the devil was the devil yesterday. And so all today he's loud. He's loud and vicious about it. You're devil, blah, 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 blah. But we have found recently that the devil is buying all wolf tickets. Every ticket you will sell, he will buy. You understand that? Where is the actual organization? Where is the actual training going on? Where is the actual survival mechanism being put? How will we survive America? And this is what nationalism is about. No matter what happens to anybody else, let us find ways to survive. Let us find ways for black people to survive America. The nationalist also says that we cannot survive unless we have a black value system. A value system derived from the black man's experience, which is designed especially for him to survive. We say you cannot survive using the same value system as the white boy. You cannot survive using the same value system as the white boy. So we see the spectacle of so-called revolutionaries who act the same as the oppressors, who have the same lifestyle, the same value system, who want the same things. This is what the cultural revolution is supposed to be about. This is why Mao Tse-tung has a cultural revolution. The red book is always better read. This is why Mao Zedong has a cultural revolution, so that the people will know who they are and will have an identity, purpose, and direction. The majority of black people in America will not fight a revolution right this minute. They are not interested in that. I hope you can understand that. No matter what you say, no matter what you would like to see happen, the majority of black people in America are not revolutionaries. That might be a cold fact. You must win the minds of the people first, and posed against you in that momentous task is the entire white nation. Because if black people really wanted national liberation right now, they would have it. If our people really wanted to be free right this minute, they would be free. Nothing could stop them, certainly not the white boy. Nothing could stop them from being free if they wanted that, but they don't want that. They want every other thing, most of us. Most of us have found different ways to justify our slavery and have gotten comfortable at it and even stylish in it. We are the best kept slaves. We are the shiniest, speediest, hippest slaves on the planet. The best fed, the best dressed, got the biggest cars. But also that means we have the responsibility for making revolution or being ultimately connected up with the slave master. We got the same names as the slave master. We got the same lifestyle a lot of us would aspire to as the slave master. A lot of us want to be with the slave master. A lot of us are willing to fight the slave master's wars. Well, why not be considered part of the slave master? When the world's peoples come to make the righteous world revolution, why consider the nigger any different from the slave master if he hadn't acted any different? When you come here to destroy America, Chinese, Indians, Mexicans, Africans, and all you other people, why consider the nigger any different from the white boy if he ain't acted any different? Yeah. Niggas walking around making $50,000 a year justifying white people's atrocities around the world, who will justify anything that a white boy has to do. Travel around the world and see the way the rest of the world's peoples live. See that you are high up into the slave master's house and in danger of contacting his deadly disease, which will prove fatal to you and certainly to him. Nation. How you think about that? I'm telling you about that. You consider it on any level you can consider it. If you can consider it at the level of nationalist politics in terms of elective office, then you do that. If there are black people out here who want to get into office, help them do that. You understand? Make sure they're not corrupt. If we call a memorial for Malcolm X and a party for Mayor Stokes of Cleveland, tell me how many people will be at either place among black people. Tell me where the most people will be. And tell me you won't see the alphas and the kappas and the slick dudes AC and the cops. But that is not to put down the alphas or the kappas out of hand, or the slick dudes or the old women AC, none of that. The point is that they are black. How can we get their consciousness raised so that they are functioning in national liberation? In Newark, we have people functioning as nationalists who would never say that, who would never say, I am a nationalist. They would be afraid of that. Who would say, I am for national liberation. No, we could never get some of the old men and old women that work with us in Newark to say that, but they work every day, 12 hours a day as black nationalists because we can involve them in something they can understand, meanwhile raising their political consciousness so that when the contradictions in American life are absolutely polarized, they will understand clearly and already be organized into some form that they can defend themselves and defend the space they live upon. Now check it out. You cannot get black people to pick up rifles and guns en masse today. Think about it. Those of us who will pick them up, pick them up. But the job is to organize the whole people. And you cannot organize the whole people unless you are dealing with them on levels they are already active in. Think about that. Don't neophyte against niggas. Win them. Win them. They are your people, and without them you will die. No kind of... There's no kind of nationalist or revolutionary who can say, we are going to make it by ourselves. We do not need the masses of black people. Are you kidding? They'll kill you in a minute. Like this room we talked about where the white people and the black people are in there, and you come and you say, nigga, he got his foot on your neck. What you do is the white boy look around and the blood look around, and they see you. And you standing there by yourself. You understand that? That's the only thing you have accomplished, is identifying yourself as something that needs to be destroyed so that the room can be peaceful again. Organization does not require wolf tickets. Organization requires working with black people in organizations they already have and raising the level of their political consciousness so the Baptists and the Methodists and the Nationalists and the Panther can all be working for national liberation. Can you understand that? So that the old ladies can work in their way, and the doctor can work in his way, and the student can work in his way, so that like the Vietnamese people, we can all work to defeat our enemies together. Because we will never win unless we mature sufficiently enough to understand that white people are our enemies as long as they have us. And any person that tells you that you don't need a nation is your enemy. Any person that seeks to keep you under their oppressive wing, oh man, don't tell me about no Marx and no Lenin. To tell me that the oldest people on this planet, the people who, when first talked about by the oldest books, were practicing communalism, ujamaa, to tell me we need an old, ancient 19th century European philosopher to define a lifestyle that we ourselves brought upon this planet? Don't tell me nothing like that. We are not against any people, but we are for black people developing. We are for black people having a nation. I say that. I say that. However weird you might sound, it might sound to you. Against all the kind of difficulties you might propose to us having it, we will have it. We will survive America. But the only way we will survive is as a whole people. Now, Nixon is one of the strongest activists we have in terms of black people organizing themselves. Everything that a Nixon or a Mitchell does is help to create our nation quicker, to bring us to the consciousness of themselves, of ourselves, because of what they do. You see, we say, go ahead, Nixon, go ahead, do it, do it. See, because we understand that the evolution of black political power is a historical process that no one can stop. The fact that we will be free people, that we will raise a nation, is a foregone conclusion. There's nothing anyone, whether the white boy or the backward nigger, can do about that. That will happen. But how will we survive the onslaughts of the 70s and the 80s How will we survive when they come back on us? When they come back? How will we survive once the brothers come back from Vietnam or Laos or Cambodia or Korea or China or wherever else they're going to have to fight, or South Africa or Venezuela or Chile or wherever else they're going to have to try to keep together? Could be Bermuda, Jamaica. Could be Haiti. Could be any of the little black populations scattered throughout the Western Hemisphere. Think about that. The Pan-Africanist says, if there are 50 million of us in America, and more than that in Brazil, then how many black people are there in the Western Hemisphere? We think about the West Indies, Jamaica, and Haiti, and Puerto Rico, and Cuba, and Guyana. How many black people are there in the Western Hemisphere? How many of us are there on this planet? And what are we doing about that? We see education as a key because who controls your children controls your future. Our children are taught to be white racists, just as most of us have been taught to be white racists. We go to school, age 5, and are taught white racism. By the time we finish the 8th grade, we have reached the level of white racism. In fact, our mothers get uptight if we don't get good grades in white racism. By the time we graduated from high school, we are deep, high up into white racism. And then we go to college to specialize in it. So that how can a blood actually want national liberation and he's a white racist? How can you want to destroy John Wayne and you really think you John Wayne? How can you really want to bring about absolute self-determination as a people and secretly you hate black people? Or not so secretly? This is what the Cultural Revolution is. It's why Mao has one. It's why Mwalimu Nyerere in Tanzania has one, which is not publicized. They don't publicize what Sekou Touré in Guinea or Nyerere in Tanzania are doing. They tell you about abstract socialism when their brothers were running black socialist states according to the principles of Ujamaa. Think about what Nyerere is doing. Think about why it was necessary for them to bust Nkrumah, to run Nkrumah out of there. Blood in America wouldn't even mention Africa before Nkrumah. It was ashamed of Africa before Nkrumah, before Ghana. Blood didn't want to hear anything about Africa. Only African he knew was the one to be with Tarzan. That was Africa. But Africa is our national home, the home of our national spirit. What would happen if all the black politicians in America began to relate to Africa the way the Jew politician relates to Israel? What about if all the black politicians in America began to ask for aid and began to do the same kind of political activism around Africa and African causes that the Jew does for Israel? You better raise some politicians that have an African consciousness, because the potential of African power is the realization of power for black people all over this planet. They raise money for Israel. They speak in the Senate about Israel. Javits will get up and run his thing about Israel, which is good. That's his thing. He's at least conscious. Wish we could get Senator Brooke to do that. Black activism and black so-called elective politics, you have to destroy the barrier between them. Can you understand that? That the so-called black politicians must be an absolute extension of black activist nationalist politics. that Powell or Conyers or Shirley Chisholm, they must be an extension of nationalist activist politics. You can't send anybody to office unless they identify with Africa, unless they identify with national liberation. And black people will vote. No matter how long you tell them, nigga, this ain't gonna free you, they gonna vote. No matter how long you tell them that Jesus ain't gonna help them, they're gonna be there on Sunday talking about Jesus. What you gotta do is get Jesus to say something. You got to get Jesus to say something different. You got to get them preachers to say something different. You're not going to stop black people from going to church. You got to get them preachers to say something different. You can't put down Bloods for going to church. You got to get the church to be something different. You understand that? You stand in the way on Easter Sunday of them Bloods going in church. See what happens to you. You get trampled. It comes back to organization. You students here should have a strong student organization. It can't be done without organization. Anybody that tells you they're doing their own thing, they can't be an organization, is jiving and is working for the white nation. Anybody that tells you they're individual and can't be involved with activist politics and political movements to liberate black people is working for the white nation. Is working for the white nation to keep black people submissive. You cannot do it without a strong organization. There are enough people in this auditorium to control black space in Houston, to control the areas you live upon in Houston. Organization, organization, choosing leaders that are representative, black leaders, not Negro leaders, black leaders, choosing black leaders and not, say, being envious of them. Not practicing a crab mentality and keeping them back. Well, he don't speak for me, you know. I got my own thing, see. Your own thing ain't work. Let's get a thing that works for all of us. Your little nation ain't nothing. Your little body, your little self. We got a big self. We got a big mind we're trying to create. You understand what evolution is? From a one-celled creature to a huge creature. We're trying to build that huge creature from all these little one-celled organisms that we are. All these little amoebas that we are as single individual personalities. We got to put them personalities together to create one strong thing, one big thing. That's what we're talking about. Individualism is a white boy's desire, but it's not a black need. Take care of your needs first. Take care of your needs. So organize around a black value system, around nationalism. Organize an organization around nationalism, around black philosophers. Do you know what Torre has said? Do you know what Karinga has said? Do you know? Study, organize, build, build in secret, build in private. It's not anyway necessary for you to look anyway to build and create. Create something that will outlast America. Create something that will survive the death blows that America will put upon you. Create something that will survive as long as the Jews survive Catholicism in Spain. Hundreds of years. But create something that will survive and that will represent the African personality trying to reestablish a nation in the modern world. That's what it's going to be about. When they start running into these houses, shooting us down, and putting us in these concentration camps, have some kind of organization together. Have some kind of people who are trained, who understand how to survive. I hope you understand that. Have some kind of organized group that will embrace every aspect of the black population. Every aspect of the black population in some kind of organized group to survive America. You understand? Tell them anything. You a church? When you be magnetized by your life, not by your words. by what you do, not what you say you do, by your life. The polarization has come, is come, and will be even stronger. I hope you're in some kind of organized effort to survive that. I want to read some poetry because now that my work is published in secret, it would seem, people always say, you stop writing. Because when I have books published, there's no kind of announcements or no advertisements. Or you don't write plays anymore, even though Spirit House, we always doing new plays, getting around the communities all over the country. But all of our work is censored, black writers. Can you understand that? All of our work is censored. We have books stacked up, not published. If it's published so they can say they published it, not distributed. When they republish works, it's old work, show that you're really an integrationist or that you're young and immature. And the black work that they do publish is work designed to tell the story they want told. Integration is what's happening in America, if you can dig it, because it will be the only thing that will save America. Wage the war, but win. Win first, then it will be won. And won already. It's that simple. Push it. The head got it, the body got to. The head get it, the body got to. Win the head, the body follow. Win the head, you are ahead. One head together, you together. Get together, you together. It's that simple. Get together, you together. But get the head niggas, the niggas head. Get the niggas head, get the niggas head, the body follow. The body that is the mass. When there and one here already, if they fall inside, it's slower outside, but coming on down, Jim, they crumbling. They crumbling, coming on down. Vanish them, vanish your enemy, the body will act. Its organs, when grown, naturally kill what offends it, naturally kills what offends it. The body will follow the head, get the head, get the head. The finger will squeeze, the feet will stomp, the arms will throw, the body will grow if the head tells it. Get the head. Get the nigga's head, the head. Then the body, the mass, will follow. That's the way to win the war. That's the way we'll win. In the modern world, post-destruction, the African man will have grown instruction. The African man rubber-banded the sun. The African man, his whole nation won. The African man in the modern world will walk the planetary chain, building fantastic cities of the mind. Rhythmic sun cities, warm all year, that seem softly to boogaloo like the movers of the planets. That's the modern world and the modern African man. On my balcony studying the sunbeam, the sunspot, I glimpse the eternal burning of the everlasting fuel. I glimpse the pattern of the law, the order of the air, and the future like the past and the tiny drop of fire that I held upon my finger, like the ether holds the sun, and blew my breath upon it. Who am I? Never existed. Ring around Yebo, the energy, momentary image of the energy which be the man, the universe, the sun. In the modern world, the African man, a song of woman, I am your man, a song of man, I am your own. What do you want, brother lover, hip daddy? What you want, rabbit, Imamu, Maulana, Patrice? What you want, JB? Do you want what we all need? Stuff, Lou, what you want? Break, Clyde. Clyde, throw the ball, push it down the sideline. Yeah, lean, two, baby, big two. What do we all want? All of us. What do you want, brother lover, hip daddy? What do you want, rabbit, Imamu, Maulana, Patrice? What do you want, JB? Do you want what we all need? Stuff, Lou, what do you want? Break, Clyde, throw the ball, push it down the sideline. Yeah, leaning, two, baby, big two. What do we all want, all of us? Graceful fantasy love woman, arms outstretched, smooth brown, ashore of fields of harvest of all-night music of the alleyway where the ocean come. All praise the alleyway where the ocean come, and all praise the black man. What do we want, alleyway and sun there too, and black magic people? What do we want, Mrs. Big Leg Welfare Sister, director of the state welfare mothers, and niggas teaching at Rutgers? Pray in the sun, however midday purity will cleanse us all, our prayers, our determination not to be left out of the talked about future. In the modern world, the African man will be what he want to, is what he got to be. In the modern world, the answer to what do we want is what do we got. Have you studied, or are you talking? Blood rushing through your brain, your flesh hard is all. You in a bedroom nightmare with Daisy May, or was it Brenda Starr, bleeding into your new copy of Lennon's Jungle Funnies? But that's old horrible stories out of the past, of the delirious niggas lured into the caves to dally among the gnawed skulls. Stories of our animal forebears, the meat-eaters and people-exploiters, the bloody-tongued, who roam the nights with beasts, sucking vicious fumes into their lungs, sucking vicious fumes into their brains. Not the modern world post-destruction that we can build with this instruction that America must die, like a cancer patient or a swatted fly. That the things that America has grown, that they must be killed too. That the time, the elements, the very poisons they have sown will be the death potion, allowing the new age becoming. Dead crackers floating face down in fire. Dead crackers pinned in office buildings screaming. Dead crackers faces peeling under crashed automobiles. Dead crackers, and dead niggas, them that oppose for Jews' sake against the nation rising. And dead niggas, them that is the image of what the death potion kills. And dead niggas and dead crackers. Dead niggas and dead crackers, ashes in the storm, 1,000,000 miles of blown soot. Will it kill the fishers, the Chinese want to know? The Africans, they are working already on the cleanup, the mine antidote to poison air and poison water and poison earth and poison people. In the modern world, the African man studies the sunbeam world on the balcony of change. Study the atoms in their musical persuasion, all the atoms in the sun and the dark running vacuum, the space, the void, the source of rings of fire laughter. Our ancestors called life, called M2, called the first ancestor beyond him, Sifaoti Nkulu, the year of Dabuka. Past that, the African man in the modern world in his nation, the mighty continent of change, Kim, the changer himself, the mighty chemist himself, ham, bone, where you been, round the world and back again, to say, yeah, in the modern world, the mighty will have risen and the lowly will have fallen. Work to keep it that way. It's called The Nation is Like Ourselves. The nation is like ourselves, together, seen in our various scenes, sets. Wherever we are, whatever we are doing is what the nation is doing or not doing, is what the nation is being or not being. Our nation sits on stoops and watches airplanes take off. Our nation is kneeling in the snow, bleeding through 6 layers of Jewish enterprise. Our nation is standing in line, ashamed in its marrow for being our nation. A people without knowledge of itself. Dead matter, we are thrown on the soil to richen European fields. The dead Negro is fertilizer for the glorious Western harvest. Our nation is ourselves, under the steel talons of the glorious devil, our secret lover who tells us what to do. The steel orange eyes, the ripping fingers of the devil who tells us what to do. Blondie, your dress so high. Wallach's nigger, Maud nigger. Nigger in a cowboy hat. Why you want to be a cowboy laid up with a cow? He shouts. He shouts power to the nipples. Dr. Nigger, please do something on we. Lawyer nigger, please pass some laws about us. Liberated nigger with the stringy-haired mind, please live, you spliv, rate us. We you, cool lust dancing through your wet-looking tentacles. Please, Mr. Liberated nigga, love child nigga, nigga in a bell-bottom bell, some psychedelic way outness on your people. Even while you freeing thee people, please just first free your people. Oh, marijuana Jesus, I dug your last record with the hootenanny biscuits, was revolutionary as a motherfucker. Please, please. Please, Mr. Kinky Man, use your suntan. Susan Swartz is using it. Her and Tom Jones on their show with you and Diane Carroll, Tiny T, and the newest Negro to understand that there's no black, no white, only people. Your imagination is fabulous, Reverend. Play for colored peoples when the mayor, after the mayor give you your check. Please, Reverend, and Daddy Boy, and Tonto Green Grits, and Pablo Douchebag, Susan Goldberg's Daring Non-Gringo, and all the kids together reach back to the constant silence in our lives, where the ideas line up to be graded, and get a better one going than we got for you and me. Please, Mr. New Thing. Please, Mr. Mystical Smasheroo, just under 1/4 strength, learning about it from the Flying Dutchman. Please, Mr. Ethnic Meditations Professor, profess your love for black people. We waiting while you say right on and commit the actual takeover of yourself in the anteroom of anything, just before or just after anything, trudging down the halls of your wife's straightened head. We realize how tough things are and how you can't alienate the people with the money. We live among stars and angels. Listen to the devil's whines like cold space between the planets. We know the turn in the hall, your visit to the phone booth to put on an inferior man suit, a super animal trump, the tarts of your individual consciousness. Please, all you individuals and would-be involved, if people were nicer to you types, or frightened of the military aspects of national liberation, folks, in your re-involved consciousness flitting over the Sea of Jamaica. If the Rastafarians don't kill you, please, Mr. Writer Man, write some heavy justice about black people. We waiting. We starve for your realness. We know you on the move now. We heard you was outside Cairo bathing at a spa. Please, Mr. World Traveler. Please, Mr. Celebrity. Please, Mr. Nigger in the Treasury Department, Mr. Disc Jockey for the mournful cash register of the nigger soul. Please, Mr. All of Us. Please, Miss Ladybug, old lady, old brother, wherever and whoever you are breathing on. Oh, please, please, in the nighttime. Oh, please, in the Munin, we need you, baby, we need all the blood. We gotta get some blood. And you and your wilderness blood is the nigger. Yes, you is the sweet lost nigger. You are our nation, sick-ass assimilato. Please come back, like James Brown say, please, please, please. It's a poem about dope called Bad News for Your Highness. Slobber paved feet, blow son, nig loss again, pick down foot, cop again, arm bandit, fast, a nigger close to dead and mama close to dead, Italian money making machine nigger and his dopey queen sit on a stoop, wait for biscuit to blow him up. Dope in her arm, the sun. Dope in a leg, the warm water from heaven. Dope in a brain, the collection of beauty reprises itself. Dope in the ground, dope in the sound of the beating of the earth's heart. Flow dope, swifter than words or deep. Flow Italian money from street to street in the arms and hearts of my people who love you Italians, who like you to have rugs in your cellars and rugs in your bathroom while they have no covering even on their assholes. Flow Italian dope in the white-hatted little pimple-faced fag who brings it. Flow Italian dope in the arm and lipstick of the Pope who brings it too. May you all OD together like my people, my brothers down the street who like the OD, they do it all the time. Why is dope so nice to us? Why do we like it? Why is highness so nice? Why do we always be it? Dope is shit, shit eater. Put shit in your arm and your mama's tears when they drag you out a hallway and Sheldon Baloney giggles about it. What difference do it make? Stay high, sucker chump, lay out and be cool. The devil is corny, we know that. Ain't that the secret, brother? The coolness. The whole of Elijah digested under your sky, kneeling in a hallway, slow motion, fast motion, blood congealed on the drop of fire, swooping up your throat, last minute regret, shit took you off. Sheldon Baloney giggling. It's called Jim Brown on the Screen. It's about a brother who used to be a hero of mine, who got to be a hero of the white boys. It's about a picture we saw called A Split and one called Dark of the Sun. Jim Brown on the screen. Da, 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 da. Jim Brown on the screen. Da, 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 da. is the past in a new package, in daylight sunlight, with the white woman of his savagery, done up in brown, for advertising newness in the deadness and liveness in the oldness of punctured, rotting, maggot-loving America. America, America, my country. What an odd arrangement of nature, a country where the one-eyed bird rules inside the heads of dry-lipped slobberers, worshiping the black whiteness of Died Ann, who they killed anyway and shot up with their bullet ejaculation. Died Ann, Julia, whom they change Ed into Dim, D-E-M. Though she has a sheen of black beneath and makes her anyway more than in whiteness like the rest, life sucked out on a humble, deaf imminent, planned by whiteness to the white resolution of all things. Jim Brown, our man in space, correcting the image for now with the old chain of whiteness forever. If he could escape, if he could kill them all, Jim, kill him, Jim, if he could race past any of them again like he used to in the real world, that image for us to build among the easy slickness of imitation and accommodation. We know you living good, Jim. We know you walk in stores and buy shit. Yeah, we know you know all kind of hip folks and talk easy in leather bars and sashay through parties with the eyes of all women and beast women glued to your thing, Jim. You can be more than that anyway. More than a new Amos in space. More than Uncle Thomas from Inner Plantation, psychotic cotton salvation. You could be a man, Jim, or a man on the land, our new creator and leader if you would just do it and be it in the real world, in the new world of your own black people. I hope you do it, Jim. I hope you unmannequin yourself. You can do it if you want it. You can. You sure can, Jim. Sermon for our maturity. We want to be all we can. We want to know all we can. We want to feel all we can. All there is, all there was, all there will ever be. Can all be the judge? All is the judge. Here come the judge. All is the judge. All there is the judge. We want you to feel it too. We want you to know it's you. We in the mountains, all in the air. We want to be all over everywhere. Can you feel it too? We want to communicate with you. The motion of love has animated us. We still love you. Ooh, 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 ooh. There's no way to get out the world without love unless you're the devil. There's no connective fabric to the universe stronger than the atomic magnetism of spiritual love. There's only the lover as a compact universe in constant motion. The planets are in constant prayer. The sun is the God they pray to. We are the sun's children, black creatures of grace. Praise your ancestors through whom you came to this planet, attached to a cord from beginning to now. The 7 tones of the scale are the flying planes of life, earthmen and earth songs. Play the scale of life. Wind, let us move from plane to plane. We drift in space as circles of feeling. All the presence of invisible influences controls the paths we take. Make the invisible visible within your space. See the things you need to see and know they exist. The world shapes and is to be shaped. A portrait of God is the universe, alive and conscious down to its minuteness and finality. Your relationship with all the things, the seen and the unseen, the felt and the need to be felt. Ray, touch me. Touched, pulled through ether, speed eater and a space lover. You need to get better. You need to experience better times, Negro. We love you, Negro. Love you better if you got better. Love yourself better if you got better. We want to see you again as ruler of your own space, big Negro, big old Negro, growing as a windstorm flying through your huge blues lung, a lung filled with hurricanes of transparent finger pops and need to be changed up moans. Stretch out, Negro. Grow, grow, go on, grow, stretch out, expand. Bigger than a white boy's shack. You the star, Negro. You touch all points with your circular self. Adam is your name. The basic blood the whole of life is based upon. Growing up through these shitties, ain't no Italian suit can contain you. Your body is all space. Your feet is valley makers. Ain't no Italian shoes can contain them. You a Blackfoot Buddha face, only dancer, squat centuries in the desert for heavy Simba training. You can dance, nigga, I know it, dance on the freedom. You can sing, nigga, sing. Sing about your pure movement in space. Grow, you pierce the clouds of animal ignorance. You bigger than animal cages. Your arms cross the serpent of unknowing. Your heart is Africa, and bloodline sweetens the rest of existence with color. All color, heat, and speed are yours. Salam, brother, you still getting up. Bigger than skyscrapers. Sunset advertise your family in the casual trip to earth. Yes, Ham, you bigger than Negro. Yes, Moses, it's all right. You raised the meat eater off all fours. Your experiment, while dangerous, taught us about matter and the feelings of the breathing opposites. We have the experience. We came to the West. We grew in the West. We know the heart of stone. We can talk stone talk. We know about emptiness, hollowness, blankness, coldness, and materialism, and the worship of grayness. We have been exposed to grayness. We know about witches and devils. We passed that. We grown past animals. We've been human. Not gonna call you Negro if you keep getting up. Yes, you grown, blood. Your afro dealing with images in outer space. A soft million-tipped antenna. Bring back and feed on the new images, the new learning, yes. The new learning is here. Vision through afro antenna. The bloodline got heaven spread out like evening covering the world. The bloodline from Africa got yes as its sound. Sliding through veins as receivers. Each hair receive, each pore receive, each space full praying. Your fingers are praying, your arms, your lip, your hair's praying. I'm not gonna call you Negro if you keep getting up. You grown, blood. Fly through body. Feed the plains of feeling. You growing, blood, and space. In ecstasy to receive you. Heaven got to grow to have you in it. You found out so much truth. You pass little eyes and little words. You a shadow to the half-blind and a mountain to the ignorant. Language at celestial altitude sounds like bloods scatting at high temples. Om mani padre hum, ushubi shubi shubi shubi. Ashidu an la ilaha illallah, ushubi shubi shubi shubi. Tuna jeribu kui we'll see too, ushubi shubi shubi. Kiss Venus for me while you're up there, man. A huge black star, spread out fire-loined in empty space. I hear you laughing, man. It's that hip to be that hip. You a star and a life sign. You the Noah that first perceived the light and made the symbol we carry yet, man and his universe at the dawn of creation. Bring back angelic definition for our lives here beneath the mantle of thing love. Divine is the name we give you. Grace is the name we give you. Messenger we call you. Prophet we call you. Noble black man. Professor of wisdomic faith. Maulana, father of the new dispensation. Your growth is our own. Sanka. Santi.
The program's not over, people. For those of you that, yeah, wow. Brother Scrooge Lazar, former organizer of Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee on TSU's campus prior to the rebellion in '67, who is presently National Coordinator for the Student Nationalist Coordinating Committee, which was formerly the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, would like to clear up a few matters concerning the disappearance of Brother Rap Brown and the Bel Air bombing in New York. Brother Lazare is on his way to Los Angeles. He has a speaking engagement there, and he stopped off here in Houston for the night, and he'd like to clear up a few matters with you concerning the disappearance of Brother Rap Brown and the Bel Air bombings in New York. He's going to speak to you a few moments before we have the Sudan's Art Southwest Poetry Ensemble.
Brothers and sisters, I'm familiar to quite a few faces around here at Texas Southern, and for those that I'm not, I shall return. But in terms of what I wanted to talk to you about in full seriousness was the disappearance of H. Rap Brown, the national chairman of the Revolutionary Political Council of the Student National Coordinating Committee, and the assassination and the auto bombing of two of SNCC's top organizers, Ralph Featherstone and William Che Payne. The mere reason for this is that we cannot no longer in this country rely on the WPP, the white power press in this country, because they only tell you what they want you to know and very little of what you should know. For some time now, Rap Brown has been a political prisoner over 1 year on the island of Manhattan in New York City, pending trials in Cambridge, Maryland, and New Orleans, Louisiana. The one in New Orleans, Louisiana was a federal gun charge.